The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown. End zone, Jake Ferguson.
Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
It's an off-season edition of Talkin Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, in the SWBC Studios. Welcome in, everybody. We've got the whole, almost the whole cast and crew ready for you to rock. We got three of those guys. We got Patrik "No C" Walker, Josh Rodriguez. I'm Kyle Youmans with Chris Beam in the back. Welcome in, everybody. As always, Talkin Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. Got my Black Rifle right here. Patrik's got it.
Get you
right
some
there.
Hold on. Wait. Is Nerd Girl ASM on? Is she?
Yeah, she's
Got to make sure she's in.
You ready? Hold on.
She said morning.
Okay, here we go. This is for you.
Get closer.
Yeah. Quality.
Do we have a lot of those in the back now, or did you just pick that up on the way in?
No, JR.
Yeah, I had them from Christmas. I forgot that they've been in there. You're welcome to grab one. You go for it.
It is quite.
There are three of them in
That
there.
might be needed later today.
Go for
Got a
it.
long day ahead. So
Oh,
that
you-
sounds good. Good to
When
be
it's
back
Black
with you
Rifle
guys.
Coffee, we can all share.
Yeah, you're right.
Damn right.
Sounds like a slogan ready to happen.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Dude.
Good to be back.
with a jingle.
You guys had a great show last week. Missed you guys. I was out
Missed
in
you, man.
Mobile with the Senior Bowl. Had a lot of fun out there and got to see put eyes to prospects. Get to know a lot of those guys as well, which was cool.
That's awesome, man.
We'll dive into
Love
that
the
a
draft
little bit.
shows.
Yeah, they ended up being really cool. Some of those interviews were just incredible. And that's not on our side. It's on the prospect side. Some of the stories and some of the things that you get to learn. And that's part of the draft process that I like, because everybody's got the film at this point with YouTube and the streaming services that everybody has. Like, you've got some type of film, whether it's all 22 or TV copy. So everybody can kind of evaluate players. But that's something that I guess our access within the building and within the organization is different. We get to kind of get to know these guys a little
You
bit.
get to evaluate the character as well.
Yeah, and that's what these teams place a lot of stock into as well. So we'll talk about that a little bit later today.
I really enjoy listening to the draft show whenever you're interviewing these guys, and like it starts off as a very like kind of casual, like getting to know you sort of thing.
Like, what's the week been like? And,
Right.
Yeah, the early questions.
But once they start to open up and have fun, and like that's
their
really
guard,
the best part of those shows is whenever they're actually like joking around and like, oh, okay, this is a chill, because I'm sure they're on alert at all times during the draft process, during the scouting process, that they're like, okay, well, I have to kind of be buttoned up here. But once they start talking to Kyle, they're like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, they always.
Let's chill out a little bit.
They always
like you're
approach with
a comforting interviewer.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. The first thing I tell them is like, hey, we're just going to have a conversation. That's all it is. This isn't an interview. This isn't a job interview. Let's just have a conversation. And I think Nick Harris does a really good job at that too. He knows a lot of those guys too. Like he's either covered them before or he's watched them in certain situations before. So he always does a nice job of kind of opening up with those guys and getting them to kind of go deep into their past too. Because I mean, out of the guys that we interviewed, probably 8 or 9 prospects for the draft show last week, and I think 6 of the 8 or 9 were all Texas guys.
Wow.
So it's like there's a lot of talent around here, and we've gotten a chance to see them grow up a little bit as well. So, and Texas is the most represented state in the Super Bowl as well. Shocker.
It's all right.
Not shocker.
Yeah. I mean, quality football gets played in Texas. I will say that.
It's the law of the land.
Yeah, objectively speaking. I mean, this is
Objective.
just this is just fun Southern rivalry, right? Southern
Over
rivalry.
Georgia.
We're not here for that California football talk, okay? Although California does have a good football program as far as bringing kids up through the ranks. But when you're talking about good old fashioned Southern football, it's Georgia, it's Texas, it's
Florida,
absolutely Florida,
especially South Florida.
Yeah.
What about Princeton?
So yeah, Florida, Georgia, Texas. Those are your good farm states as far as like where you start the kids out young and you bring them up through the programs, you know. And a lot of times that's why you have so many quality Texas football kids that go to young men, turn to grown men, and you know they become All-Americans, and you know they find their way into the league. And the same for Georgia talent, same for Florida talent. So just thankful that talent that grows up in Florida departs Florida
and goes to Georgia.
I
did have fun. One of the guys that I wouldn't mind Dallas at least exploring in the first round.
Come on,
out of the UGA,
come
Georgia
on,
Bulldogs. Dalen Everett, talked to him last week. He was great. He was great on and off the camera. He was really cool. And we chatted for maybe 2 minutes before the interview. And then we knocked out the interview, and then he stayed and chatted like another 2.5, 3 minutes after the interview, which he didn't have to do.
High football IQ.
Yeah. Very smart kid.
He'll do well in the league. Smart. Did you get a chance to, even if a sidebar with CJ? Was CJ there?
Nah, CJ
wasn't there. No. Okay.
But a couple guys to keep an eye on, and we may get to see him at the Combine here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we will, because we will be there.
You're darn right. We did book our travel, baby.
Let's go.
In the books. Let's go.
Be in Indy. Let's go.
Hope we'll have a swell time.
I can't wait.
I'm gonna stay right back here.
UNT football, Georgia football. We're coming to Indy for the Combine.
Why UNT football? Wait, why are we naming colleges?
I just tried to segue.
Oh, okay.
Because we were talking Texas football, Georgia football, so I specified the university.
Okay.
You know,
we'll keep going. Let's get to news and notes here, Patrick.
Trying to give you an opportunity to
get to
Mean Green and call, but you didn't take it.
Go Mean Green.
So quite a bit of news and notes. Most of it is kind of a recap. So let's just shrink it to the most important, which is who is on board. We touched base on this last week, but definitely reconfirming that Ryan Smith is in the building. He is officially hired pen to paper as the Cowboys' new defensive back / secondary coach. So he's in there. Keep in mind he's coming from Arizona as their former pass game coordinator and their cornerbacks coach. So good get for Christian Parker. And man, I gotta say, Christian Parker is off to the races. He's not wasting any time.
Not at all.
But also in not wasting any time, he's also being exceptionally thorough. We credited Brian Schottenheimer for being thorough in the candidacy interviews for defensive coordinator. 9 candidates. Man, Christian Parker, his net is even wider.
Yeah.
Arguably. So in addition to Ryan Smith, Derek Ansley, former Packers pass game coordinator, he is now pen to paper. He is officially in the building. His contract is officially signed. Waiting to confirm this, but per Todd Archer, which is a damn good credible source for information.
Arguably, yes.
Yeah, so I'm waiting.
Todd's like, wait, what's the argument?
The joke is you can argue anything. You know what I mean? Dallas Cowboys are from Dallas, and it's like, arguably.
Frisco. We're
Arlington and Frisco.
Arguably, yes.
Arguably.
That's a good point.
Shouts out to Archer.
You could argue anything.
So you could. Doesn't mean you need to, but you could.
This is fair.
Yeah. So I'm waiting to get this officially confirmed from upstairs, but we came right into the podcast. So follow Twitter, Voice at the Star. We'll get you that information. And the tracker. You should have the tracker bookmarked.
On DallasCowboys.com.
You should have the tracker bookmarked. All things is being updated daily. So as soon as I get that made official for Ansley, that will be updated as well. But we also have that the Cowboys have agreed to terms with Marcus Dixon.
Whoa.
Who they interviewed a couple of times, one virtually, one in person over the past weekend. Marcus Dixon is not only in the building, he is officially not leaving the building because now he has work to do. Former Vikings defensive line coach under one, Brian Flores.
I like
and
those
we do
words.
Love some Brian Flores. So Marcus Dixon is definitely in the building as well. And needless to say, he knows how to coach some football. He played football. He was a former assistant defensive line coach for the Rams, defensive line coach for the Broncos, before joining Brian Flores as defensive line coach for the Vikings. That is another big get for the Cowboys. And we're waiting to see which of these other guys are going to potentially land deals. Obviously, pending right now, Ronell Williams, Eagles assistant linebackers coach. Who else we got? We got Robert Livingston, Colorado defensive coordinator. And we got a new entrant into the contest for position coach, CJIU, Texas Tech outside linebackers coach.
Interesting.
Outside linebackers.
Outside linebackers coach. We'll talk about that.
There's
because
a couple guys in the draft that are really good from Texas Tech.
Couple.
There's a guy named David Bailey who's going to be a first-round pick. There's a guy named Romello Height that's going to be a first-round pick.
Got a good.
I think he coached both of those guys. Yeah. And then there's a linebacker, not an outside linebacker, but a Mike linebacker named Josh Rodriguez, who could be a first, second, or third-round pick. Who really knows where he's going to go right now? I don't know. I just think that's worth pointing out.
It is very much worth pointing out.
Just thought I'd
we got some new entrants. Texas.
Josh or Jacob? Is it Josh?
Did I say Josh?
You just
said,
I said Josh.
I was like, Kyle.
Jacob Rodriguez.
My
Congratulations, dude. You're going in the draft.
my playing days are behind me, Kyle.
Sorry. No, Jacob
Yes,
Rodriguez. My bad.
looks like you could line up and
That's really
throw
funny.
some bodies around.
No, I did one pulling play for the Little Lobos, and they were like, "All right, let's
Sit him
keep
down.
it. Let's."
He's going to be better as a webmaster one day.
This guy's gonna be a damn good webmaster and movie reviewer.
Had the strength, but as soon as they put me on a pull play, they were like,
That guy looks like a film critic.
Get after it.
CJIU.
Good thing they had scouts at Film School University, baby. That's all I'm saying.
CJIU, Texas Tech outside linebackers coach. He is now a candidate for a position coaching role under Christian Parker, as is Eric Henderson, USC co-defensive coordinator, run game coordinator, and defensive line coach. Eric Henderson does quite a bit out there for the Trojans. So we know Denzel Martin, Steelers outside linebackers coach. You're going to hear this quite a bit. Because in all of the candidates that I named, and we're going to talk about this in a moment, outside linebackers coach, outside linebackers coach, outside linebackers coach. Notice not once did I say defensive ends coach. Wink, wink. We'll get to that in a second.
Odd man front.
Odd man front. And one more new entrant, fourth new entrant, is from Athens.
Oh.
The Cowboys have scheduled an in-person interview.
With Kirby Smart?
Why you do that?
Oh, sorry.
Why'd you do
Just asking.
Because now whenever I drop the name, it's like they hit the same.
Okay.
No, but he's from the Kirby Smart tree.
Okay.
And that's a pretty big deal. Okay.
Which comes from the Nick Saban tree.
That is true. So Chidera Uzo Deribe, he is the linebackers coach for Georgia. Which linebackers coach? The outside linebackers coach. Sense in the thing.
Patrick,
Can I say it?
you can say it.
Go Dogs. Now, whenever you're reaching into the Georgia coaching ranks, particularly at linebacker position coaching, then you're starting to look at, number one, I'm just going to say it, all right, CJ, even though CJ is an off-the-ball linebacker. He's a middle, okay? He's a Mike. He's not an on-ball. He's not a defensive end. Doesn't rush the passer. However, there's obviously that relationship that's there. But I will also say, because I know a lot of people on Twitter, once that news dropped via Todd Archer, again, shout out to Todd Archer, a lot of people saying, Pat, no, see, what does this guy bring? What does he do? I can tell you quite simply, if you've ever been impressed with the ability of the defensive line to get after the quarterback when you're watching Georgia, this is why you would love to have this type of guy here, right, in Deribe. So I want to see how far that goes, but those are your new entrants, and the ones who have been confirmed: Ryan Smith, Derek Ansley, Marcus Dixon. Welcome to the program.
Okay, so let's turn this thing around a little bit. We've already alluded to it here. You're looking at outside linebackers coaches.
Yeah.
So
Very interesting.
reading the tea leaves here, and even just from the schematics and from the coaching tree that Christian Parker comes from as a defensive coordinator now in his first stint as a D coordinator, you would anticipate an on-man front, right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of part of it. Does this personnel in Dallas fit the need as an odd man front, or is there going to be a lot of moving and shaking that needs to happen before?
I think there's going to be a lot of moving and shaking, but also definitely they have their mindset on free agency and the draft to really fill in a lot of those gaps. I think you have linebackers right now that could possibly fit maybe that transition to a 3-4 or using multiple fronts, which Brian Schottenheimer has been a proponent of since he became a coach. He's been saying multiples.
Yeah.
He's said that multiple times. Now you're actually seeing it. This is the clearest indication of that change. But but you currently have long, explosive athletes who don't need to live with their hand in the dirt. Transitioning guys to stand up outside linebackers. Consider DeMarvion Overshown. Consider Shemar James as a sort of stand-up assignment limited outside linebacker.
I'd love to see him in that role.
Seriously, right? Yeah. And situational blitzer, right? And then think of Marist Liufau in passing situations as like a nickel linebacker. Yeah. I think you have the personnel that could make it work, but you obviously need to improve the personnel across the board.
And I agree. I don't think that as we have this conversation that you have the personnel to run that front, but we're having that conversation on February 3rd. You have the entirety of free agency and the upcoming draft, and then, of course, some of the spillover after the draft. How do you handle the free agents that the mercenaries that didn't get signed before then? How do you handle that? Because keep in mind, you had a guy like Jadeveon Clowney didn't come in until right after the season had begun. So you'll have some mercenaries there. By the way, sign Jadeveon quickly. But you have to go and get them. But it starts with knowing who the coaching staff is and knowing what framework the scouts need to be looking toward as far as bringing the personnel in. It doesn't need to start the other way around. Otherwise, you find yourself in an Eberflus situation where you have this personnel, but then you want to hire a coach, but the coach, their scheme and their framework doesn't work with the personnel, nor are they willing to be versatile enough to adapt to the personnel. That's when you run into problems. I like how the Cowboys are handling it right now. They say, hey, we're going to get Christian Parker. They look at Christian and they say, hey, what do you want to run? And what coaching staff do you need to run it? Let's build that out first. They're building that out, and then they look at the roster and say, you know what? We have some pieces we know will fit, like a Demo, for example. Yeah. And I'll say this. I think Ezraku would look great in a 3-4.
He'd be fine.
He'd be fine because if you look at his build, although there's a little bit more mass on him than there is DeMarvion Overshown, but physically, they're about the same height, same wingspan, similar. So I could see Ezraku thriving in that front.
And the main thing you have to worry about when you're transitioning from a 4-3 to a 3-4 is going to be your interior defensive line, which I think at this point,
you feel good
right now, you feel pretty darn good about it.
Man, listen. I say, man, listen, because life comes at you fast, right? A year ago, we're having this conversation, and outside of the concerns at cornerback, the biggest concern we had was defensive tackle. Now we're sitting here February 3rd, 2026, and we're popping collars and
sitting pretty.
We're like, defensive tackle. Who's worried about that?
You know, I think in years past, if this was the conversation of, we're going to switch from 4-3 to 3-4, even though I know there's multiples, and Dallas ran some odd man fronts at certain times under Matt Eberflus too. Just the majority of the time it was 4, and a lot of those 5s. All of that to be said, I think if it was this conversation in years past, we probably would have been hesitant to say it's a good thing. What was the conversation even prior to hiring a defensive coordinator? Is it the coordinator or is it the personnel? Right? We had that argument. Is this personnel good enough to execute whatever defensive coordinator is going to be able to bring in at some point in time? I think the argument is probably not. At some point you look at it and say, multiple defensive coordinators have struggled. Maybe the personnel's just not very good. So what do you do to change that? You up in the personnel, and that's what they're trying to do. Is it a harder task to do in one off season? Absolutely. It is tougher to do that than to build off of what you already have. Not to say that it's a complete reset, but you're going to have to turn over plenty of individuals to make a switch like this, a full-time switch like this happen. But I think this is the right time to do it because you get to build from the ground up, knowing that you have a piece here, a piece there, a superstar here, a really good player there. But then everybody else, it depends on how you fit into the system, and then you find a way to do it. I've never been a proponent in the past. One of the things that Dan Quinn did was he fit his system to the players. But when you don't have good players, there's no system that can make them better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I do think there's a way you can up in both of these things and marry the two. In one off season, it's just going to be a tough task to do so.
No, and I think we talked about last week, Kyle, when we were talking about the expectations of the defense that you have.
Yeah.
Granted, you're turning over the coaching staff. You're going to have some of the same personnel. You can't get around everybody, right? You can't turn around the whole thing, nor necessarily do you want to. I think there are a lot of players that are currently on your defense that didn't get a fair shake last season because of performance and because of
you mentioned a couple of them.
Favoritism. I mean,
Marist Liufau is one of those guys where you probably don't want to move on from him, but did he play well in 2025? No.
Did he have a fair shake?
Exactly.
Maybe not.
One that was a victim of politics. basically.
Yeah. I think there was
Might have
some
been.
favoritism as the linebackers room last year. So at least for me, I think you have a better chance with an overhaul of the coaching staff to give those players, those sort of tentpole players, a better chance at succeeding this year, while also increasing competition and getting guys through free agency, through the draft, that provides that competition that gives you the best players that are on the field.
You're going to have to do a lot of work on your defensive personnel
Tons
this
of it.
offseason. That's a perfect word for it. A ton of it. Because outside of defensive tackle, you're not really confident much anywhere else, right? Mm-hmm. Defensive end, like I said, you go to an odd man front. I think Ezraku can thrive in that. So I like what I see there. But outside of that, who else is helping you rush the passer there, right? You got to figure that out. Linebacker, I do believe Marist Liufau was a victim of politics and favoritism last season. So we'll like to see him back out there getting more snaps, but TBD on that. DeMarvion Overshown, he can be an absolute game changer, but availability, TBD on that, right? Outside of those two guys, Shemar James, I think he's going to take a huge step forward, especially if they bring in the correct position coach at linebacker for that young man. I think he'll excel.
And if they put him in the right situations, like we're talking about, I mean, all of his traits say that he's a situational blitzer.
Yeah.
And Marist Liufau, like we said, he's a coverage linebacker. I mean, if you put these guys in the best situations for the player, not just the system, I think you're going to thrive.
And I will say this real quick, Kyle, because for those that aren't aware of Cowboys Crosstalk, which is a great show, by the way, Leighton Vander Esch was featured on it recently, and Vander Esch had nothing but stellar praise for what he sees from Shemar James and his upside. So when you have a guy who is as talented as Leighton Vander Esch, keep in mind the only reason Leighton Vander Esch is not in the league is medically. Not because he couldn't play ball, because, man, when he was healthy, he could play some damn ball. Yeah. Right. So when you hear, former Cowboys veterans who played at a high level, Pro Bowl level, praising a young man like that, Shemar James, during a year that was so unsettled as a whole defensively, that should tell you a lot there. But outside of those guys, I mean, defensive backs, we don't even have to get really into it. Safeties, you need some help there. You got to rebuild that completely. Cornerback, Trevon Diggs is out of the building. We got concerns about Deron Bland's foot. Savon Revel, we're confident that a full offseason, he can take a step forward. Does that mean he immediately becomes a Pro Bowler next year? We're not saying that, which means...
It'd be nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice. But so many question marks, man. So you have... some pieces, mostly defensive tackle. The rest, you gotta give Christian Parker everything he needs. That's going to take a lot of work, but you got a lot of time. This is February.
It is a lot of time. It's not a lot of time at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
You
gotta the work has already begun. Shrine Bowl and Senior Bowl.
Exactly.
Scouts are out there.
Yeah, you got to get after it a little bit, and I think that's where this was such a coveted job by defensive coordinators. It was across the league, and even going to the Senior Bowl and having conversations with other organizations, they said the same thing. Like, that was a highly coveted job because you have individuals that you can build around, young talent, in a big plus in terms of your guys interior wise with Quinnen Williams and with Kenny Clark. Yeah, I mean, people want to have your interior line stacked like that. They have it, but then you also have the expectations aren't to be one of the top 10 defenses in the league.
We talked about that last.
You just got to be a halfway 15, decent defense.
15, 16.
And then all of a sudden your offense hopefully takes a step forward and you're making moves. So something to keep an eye on as we move forward. We'll continue to break down coaching changes and such as they come along. But when we come back on Talkin Cowboys, we're going to take your phone calls.
Hey.
I know it's the off season.
We want to hear
you. We're okay. We're going to hear you. 888-855-2297. We're going to hear you in what you want to talk about with the Dallas Cowboys when we come back with more right after this.
Calling me now.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Totally. They have some talent.
Yup, some great talent.
And they got some fight.
Hoping this is the year.
Me too. Oh, I'm Cody, by the way.
I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
Cowboys fans, we've got big news. Black Rifle Energy is now available at Texas 7-Eleven stores. And for a limited time, you can score 2 cans for just $6 at participating locations. These cans pack a serious punch, 200 milligrams of caffeine, veteran-crafted flavor, and the clean energy you need to power through those long days. So the next time you roll into your neighborhood 7-Eleven here in Texas, grab that 2 for $6 Black Rifle Energy deal and fuel up the American way. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee.
Every day begins with a promise to work hard and to build a future. That's why we're here, providing the tools, expertise, and John Deere equipment you have relied on for generations to help you get the job done right. We're with you. That's our promise to you, because no matter the project or the challenge you're facing,
we're with you. We're united.
At AT&T, we guarantee our network so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, yeah, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown! Yes!
Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Talkin Tuesday, pick up the phone, don't delay. Chat it up, spill your mind. Tuesday's here, it's your time. Call us now, let's unwind. Talkin Tuesday, talk it through. The spotlight's waiting just for you.
It's a Talkin Tuesday. It's been a minute since we've had that intro. Talkin Tuesday here on this off-season edition of Talkin Cowboys. Glad you're with us. This segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. And we're smiling because we've got Hoodie Kush and the Basement Boys on the line. What up, Hoodie Kush?
Hoodie Kush.
What's going on, gentlemen? How's everybody today?
Doing well. Great. How are you?
Wonderful.
I'm good, man. I'm just making some shrimp and grits for the lady.
Hey!
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Josh, just so you know, bro, don't sell yourself so short, okay? I think you would be a great outside linebacker /DT.
Thank you very much.
I think you would be great. Keep doing your movie thing, but yeah, I think you would be great. So one of my biggest things was throughout this offseason was hearing, oh, well, we need to hire a certain demographic of coaching. Me personally, black, white, or indifferent, man. Let's just hope that they're the best candidate.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest things. I just wanted the best candidate, whether it had been Christian Parker or Jim Leonard or Jim Schwartz. I just wanted the best candidate for us. And the fact that we went young speaks volumes of the changes that the Joneses feel they need to make.
Yep.
Throwing a little draft in there. I would like to have Mr. Not Josh Rodriguez, but the other Rodriguez from Texas A&M. Do you guys think that that moving back at 20 would be the best option in order to get more picks for day two, or sticking and picking where we are would do better?
Appreciate you, Hoodie Kush. Two great questions.
Great call, man.
I'm going to start with draft just since it was. You too, man. You too.
No, we're going to start by saying enjoy those damn shrimp and grits.
Yeah, man.
Because that's,
come on now.
Legendary combo.
It just made me hungry immediately.
Yeah, facts.
Starting with draft, just since it was the most recent question there, Jacob Rodriguez out of Texas Tech, great linebacker. I think there are better ones available for you at 12 or 20. If you wanted to trade back, I would trade back from 20, and that's only if you have a contingency of guys that you feel really confident in, and you would be able to get back in the top 100, which you could do, and it's happened before.
Yeah.
But you can't go super far down the list. I would still want to have at least the first-round pick or at least an early second-round pick where you can kind of sleep on your board a little bit going into day two and pick up a third round at the same time. And that's you're going to have a hefty price and a dance partner that wants to come up and grab a prospect. So there's a couple options. We've talked about it a few times on the draft show. We'll probably hit it again as we get closer. I don't know if Jacob Rodriguez would be the target there if it is a trade back option, But I think you're going to get two guys that can immediately be impact players on your defense at 12 and 20. So I don't think I would trade back.
No, I think you stick and pick at this point. Yeah. You traded Micah Parsons. This is why you did it. You want those 2 first-round picks. Please use them. My only caveat to that is if all of your first-round talent is off the board by 20, I mean, for whatever reason, because that happens, obviously. And if the best player available there isn't the value of a first-round pick, sure, I would move out of it and get yourself a day 2 pick, which you currently don't have. But right now, stick and pick.
Yeah.
Give me the best 2 players you can find.
Right there with
and
you.
Both defense.
Yes,
por favor.
Would not be upset at sticking and picking 12 and 20. I definitely say stick and pick at 12. 20 depends on who's on the phone. If someone's on the phone, let's say, what do we got? Cleveland at 24, Chicago at 25. I'd be willing to entertain going down from 20 to the mid-20s if that fielded me a third-round pick of some sort.
Late 20s, buy.
Buy?
Buy. No.
You're not.
I'm not picking up the phone for any late 20s. You know what I'm saying? Mid-20.
No, you're picking up the phone to hear what they're saying. And then
I'm good.
For me, it just depends on who's on the line. Because again, depending on how the board is falling, and I stayed at 12 and I made my pick at 12, so that means I got my guy, right? I got my first guy. If how my board is falling versus how the draft is going, if my second guy is still there at like 19, and then I'm looking at who's behind me, and you look at Pittsburgh and the Chargers and Philly, and you say to yourself, well, they're likely not going to take my guy. I'm willing to fall back to 24, 25. I'm willing to fall back to 24, 25 if if it's Chicago or Cincinnati or whomever, and they're like, well, okay, give us that 20 and we'll give you a third round pick. If you're willing to do that and my guy is still falling like I think he will, and he'll still be there around 24, 25, that's a win-win-win for me.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. So I'm fine with sticking and picking at 12 and 20. Most certainly at 12. Don't move from 12.
No.
But once you get around 20, look at the board, answer the phone, look at how the draft is going, and just be fluent is what I'm saying.
Do you think there's a world where the Cowboys move up at all from 12?
No. I don't think there's.
No, not at all?
Probably not.
For who?
Downs.
No. They'd have to get inside the top 5.
No.
All right.
No.
Yeah. I would rather take the shot that he slides than to spend my picks. And
I don't see them doing that at all.
I'm just
playing with fire there, buddy.
I'm playing around on one of these mock draft simulators. The Titans offered me pick 35 for 20. But they threw in a second-round pick and a third-round pick next year.
No. That would have to be.
That's what I'm saying. Like
this year,
that's,
right now.
But that's the type of dance partner you would have to have. It's not going to be anybody there and we've had this conversation a couple times too. From about 5 to 20, there's not a ton of separation between these prospects. It's all very grouped together. Pick what you need here, take what you need there, and see what happens. From about 20 to 50, it's starting to look like that's a group that's all together. So nobody's really going to be dancing around unless they have one of their upper echelon first round picks that are still available and they don't think they'll last to that spot.
Right.
So it would probably be further down, like a early 30s type of pick. Somebody that may have already selected in the first round and then would have to give you quite the haul to get up there. But
let's see, because I'm looking at the draft value chart right now. Let's see, 20, the value on that is 850 points. Cleveland, as one example, Cleveland is at 24, 740 points. If you swapped, they take 20, you take 24, they'd still owe you 110. Where are they in the third? Cleveland.
It's a lot of math right off the dome here, Patrick. Keep going, dude.
Yeah, Cleveland wouldn't work because they're 70th overall is too rich. It's worth 240. That means they have now. It doesn't always break even. Some teams are just like, you know what, just take.
It's a first round tax.
Yeah, like just take the extra 120 points or some odd. But that would be so. It looks like something like a Chicago at 25 or Buffalo at 26 would be more feasible to be able to make that swap and then force them to give you a third round pick.
Yeah.
But those are the conversations I'd be willing to have as 20 approaches. But I'm completely comfortable at 20 if I'm not hearing anything that's making me sit up and say, okay, now we're talking, then stick and pick at 20 as well.
Yeah.
I just like the flexibility is all.
Yeah. 888-855-2297. I believe we have a couple phone lines open, and as we wait for you to give us a call, 888-855-2297. Got to hear from George Pickens and Dak Prescott yesterday.
Yes, you did.
At the Pro Bowl. Tommy Yarish wrote an article on DallasCowboys.com. If you haven't checked it out already, it is.
What are you doing? It's on the .com.
It is free. There's no paywall.
No paywall.
So,
couple ads, but no big deal.
The feeling is mutual from Pickens to the front office, as is the front office to Pickens. George Pickens said on being asked if he would like to return to Dallas, he said, "I would love to. But when you can't control it, you just kind of hope for the best."
That's a fair point.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Controversial.
There's no shade there.
Okay.
None at all.
Let's keep going.
Well,
now, no, not me personally. When talking about if the Cowboys have reached out to him personally on a contract extension, which is probably a good thing based off of history.
It is a good thing. They're talking to the agent.
Definitely probably my agent. He doesn't tell me who calls all the time, so definitely just kind of wait it out and hope for the best. Second time he's said that. So a couple things there.
Yeah. What's your interpretation, Kyle?
I have no problem with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm reading the quote.
I have an interpretation.
What's your interpretation?
He really wants to stay.
I think he does.
The fact that he keeps saying, I hope it works out for the best, it feels as if he's saying this is the best that he hopes it works out for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this goes back to during the season, the innumerable amount of times that he was asked about, free agency and does he want to stay, and every single time he echoed that sentiment. He wants to remain with the Cowboys, but it is out of his control. And that's true. It's a true statement.
And Tommy Yarish asked that question. What is the best, Mr. George Pickens? What do you feel like is the best? He said, just the ultimate best deal where it helps everybody. If it's the best thing for both parties, then I'm willing to do anything. But like I said, I can't control it, so I just kind of chill.
Listen, even that statement has to make Jerry and Stephen Jones smile. Whatever works best for both parties, and he wants to. It sounds as if, and I'm not going to say that because I want every player. I'm a player advocate. I want every player to get as much money as they can.
I know what you're going to say. Don't say it.
That being said,
say it.
Well, number one, let me just say I don't want to hear about no damn pie. So, but the good news is, and this is, I was having this conversation with a fan. This is funny. With a fan at a gas station. Not 2 days ago.
Interesting.
Not 2 days ago. I was buying some chips, and he was like, hey, see, and we just started talking.
Tostitos, right?
Yeah, Tostitos. They were delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was at a 7-Eleven, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
There you go.
So he had a Black Rifle coffee in hand, too, on his way out.
The fan was asking, he was like, so what do you think we are on this George Pickens thing? I said, I'll tell you this much. So often we hear Jerry Jones use the pie argument against, how things might turn out when negotiating with a free agent. Jerry Jones has basically set that to the side every single time he's been asked about George Pickens. Every time they ask him about the salary cap, we can figure it out. You never hear Jerry talk about this when it comes to salary cap versus signing a big money player.
Yeah.
I think that works in the favor of George Pickens. And then you hear George Pickens saying things like he wants it to work out for both parties involved, not just himself. Man, I think this deal gets done. Now, that being said, do I think the deal gets done by February 17th, February 19th? No. I think it can. I don't know that it necessarily will because there's a lot of moving parts when you're talking about a deal this large. I'm of the mindset I think the Cowboys tag him, but I think the tag is to buy time until mid-July to get the long-term deal done, but then I think it gets done far before July. I just don't know that it gets done before the tag window closes.
For all parties, and I guess selfishly, I just want the deal to get done as soon as possible just so we can stop talking about it.
Yeah.
George Pickens will be playing for the Dallas Cowboys.
Agreed.
I agree. Year.
All right, let's take a call from Troy in Amarillo. Troy, you're on Talkin Cowboys. What's going on, my man?
Oh, hey, man, Kyle. Good to talk to you guys. I was just thinking the other day, and shout out to Kyle and to Bobby Belt, for the draft show. But I'll tell you, man, we need a couple of drafts, kind of like Detroit had, back to back. If we can do it, they may be tough, man, with this year's the way things are stacking up. But Bobby was right, man. You talk about two ends, two linebackers, two back end guys, and then maybe one or two safeties. You really need all that, man. Actually to make, and you're not going to be able to get it all this year. You're just not. I don't think you can do all that. If you have a couple of drafts, kind of like Detroit did a few years back, you can actually make things happen. And I bet Will McClay, man, these guys really have to hit on them, and I think they can. They really do.
Yeah, thank you for the call, Troy. I agree with you because he's referencing a moment on the draft show where Bobby outlined a checklist that included multiple players at almost every defensive position. And the checklist was to achieve prior to the draft, so that way you can draft best player available whenever the time comes.
Absolutely.
And it's a long list. There's a lot of work to do. It's kind of like what we talked about earlier. It's almost impossible to overhaul a defense in one summer, but it's possible to take steps in the right direction, and that's where the expectation is middle of the road for this Dallas defense. I do think you might see, and everybody's talking, or I've always said on the show, what have I always said on the show? Hope is not a strategy. But there are some things from this 2025 draft class that you've seen that you hope to see a step forward. Do you plan for it to happen? Absolutely not. Don't plan for it to happen because that's not the strategy. But if it does happen, then all of a sudden you see Savone Revel step up, and he's the cornerback that you anticipated him to be after a full, healthy offseason and an extra training camp of work, and then he turns into being a confident young corner in your defense. Bang. There's
for Overshown.
That's huge. Same thing for Overshown. Hopefully he's healthy all the way through, and he's good to go with a full training camp. Same thing with Shemar James and some of those guys. Jaden Blue on the offensive side of the ball. You could go anywhere and talk about what you could do and what you could see from a second-year jump. Is it expected? No. But that's the type of thing you need in order to really be successful in this league. You need your supplemental guys to join the first-round picks that you're selecting and your free agent acquisitions that you had. Imagine if the 2024 class would have taken a second-year jump and added to what they found in Javonte Williams and George Pickens.
Right.
And from the trades with Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams. They didn't get that from the 24 class. Maybe the 25 class can do that.
You also need at least one surprise from the draft class. So like DeRon Bland turned out to be that surprise. You need at least one guy where you're just like, whoa.
And that was where the 23 team was legit. And that's why they won 12 games. We do have to take our second break. When we come back, couple quick notes on the Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowl from last week, and then we'll wrap things up on Talking Cowboys right after this.
Oh, big goal, son.
At AT&T, we guarantee our network so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, yeah, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown! Yes!
Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
Cowboys fans, we've got big news. Black Rifle Energy is now available at Texas 7-Eleven stores. And for a limited time, you can score 2 cans for just $6 at participating locations. These cans pack a serious punch, 200 milligrams of caffeine, veteran-crafted flavor, and the clean energy you need to power through those long days. So the next time you roll into your neighborhood 7-Eleven here in Texas, grab that 2 for $6 Black Rifle Energy deal and fuel up the American way. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys, wrapping things up here on this off-season edition with Patrik Walker.
Yes, sir.
Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker out of Texas Tech. And myself, Kyle Youmans, glad you're with us.
We're missing Rich Mocha, who's on Good Morning Football right now.
Yeah.
Getting richer.
He's talking to Brian Bumgardner from The Office, which I'm a little jealous of. The guy who played Kevin.
Yeah. Kevin from The Office.
Kevin from The Office. But that's going to be a conversation when he gets back. All right. Shrine Bowl and Senior Bowl. Patrik, you got a chance to see some guys at the Shrine Bowl. Anybody stick out to you?
Yeah, quite a bit, actually. I mean, first of all, let me just lead with this. Mason Reiger.
Okay. Edge rusher from Wisconsin.
Yeah, edge rusher from Wisconsin, 6'4", 245. What a freaking showing.
Dude, he was great in practice.
What a freaking monster, man. Career high 3 sacks. He started to flash in the first half that he might start to come on, but that second half, he was like, this is my game. Because early on, you had Wesley Williams, edge rusher out of Duke, 6'3", 251. You had Keyshawn James Newby out of New Mexico. Those guys were kind of coming on in the first half, first 3 quarters, and then Mason Reiger was like, you know what, I'll take it from here. But all 3 of those guys, so Reiger out of Wisconsin, Wesley Williams out of Duke, James Newby out of New Mexico, those were my top 3 edge rushers that jumped out. Linebackers didn't have a fantastic showing with the exception of one in particular. Shad Banks, University of Texas at San Antonio, 5'11", 233. Man, he was just all over the place. He was playing like his hair was on fire. He jumped off.
He was a late addition to the Shrine Bowl roster, too, because they had some injuries early in the week. Of course, I do the work with the American Conference, and I've watched him play for 3 years now. He's a dog.
Yeah. His motor is
I wouldn't
good.
mind taking a day 3 flyer on him.
Motor's great, plays through the whistle, showed me some things in coverage as well as showed me some things in filling run gaps. On
1 day practice.
1 day practice.
He had 1 day of practice to get ready for that.
Shad Banks, UTSA, keep an eye on that guy.
Okay.
Cornerbacks, it was a tough go for them with the exception of Brent Austin out of Cal, 5'11", 176, third team All-ACC selection in 25. Kind of raw, but has some traits there that showed me some things in the Shrine Bowl. Safety, one jumped out at me. Cole Wisniewski, Texas Tech. We talk about that.
He was
Texas
good all week,
Tech
too.
guy. Yeah, 6'4", 220. And the Cowboys are interviewing a Texas Tech position coach, on defense. So keep an eye on that. And honorable mention, man, glad it wasn't anything major, but James Thompson Jr. out of Illinois, man, he fired right out of the gate in the Shrine Bowl, suffered a little bit of an injury toward halftime, just ahead of halftime, walked off under his own power, didn't look like it was anything of major concern, but as a precaution, didn't bring him back in the game, but I would have loved to see more. Yeah. But I saw enough in the first half to make him an honorable mention. And I did do a list of Shrine Bowl standouts that make sense for the Cowboys on DallasCowboys.com. So make sure you check that out.
Do you have any that you watched either from the Shrine Bowl or the Senior Bowl that stuck out to you?
I only watched the Shrine Bowl, and more so I was paying attention to the coaching staff because Linda Wells, obviously.
Dude, that was awesome.
Yeah, amazing for him.
Getting the Gatorade bath at the end of the game, we were sitting in Indianapolis watching the game at a bar. And smiling ear to ear.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been happier for him. So.
No, and if he decides to depart the Dallas Cowboys for a better opportunity, it would be well deserved because
absolutely.
A guy that has just put in so much work to gain the credibility that he has, a player favorite, obviously.
Yeah.
Just really stoked for him. But Reiger, like you said, I really liked him a lot. Or Reiger, excuse me.
Yeah.
That was about it, but I just watched Shrine Bowl a little bit. Isaiah Standback did a great job.
He did do a great job on the NFL Network call.
He was having fun.
It was a good week across the board, and I thought the Shrine Bowl did a nice job of weathering the storm, no pun intended.
No. That was crazy. I thought it was going to get canceled.
The storm itself was crazy. And I risked my life getting on the ice just to get down to practice a couple times over the weekend. And I'm glad everybody stayed safe. They were able to keep all the practices, keep the game going. The crowd wasn't as good as it probably should have been, which is part of the weather.
Makes sense for
getting
the weather.
there. But they kept all the guys safe, and that was the number one thing. But I'm talking specifically about them having 54 opt-outs going into the game, and they still had a pretty good product on the field as well. One guy I wanted to shout out before we get out of here, Landon Robinson, interior defensive lineman from Navy. Dude, he was all over the place all week long. One of the standouts. He's a smaller body. I don't know if he's going to get drafted because he's only 287 pounds, 6 foot, and he's a nose tackle 3 technique type of guy. I don't know if he'll get drafted, but man, he was really fun.
He showed out for sure.
He reminded me of Willie Lampkin for those that do follow the draft. Willie Lampkin was a North Carolina offensive lineman last year, which was just out there whooping feet, as we like to say on the draft show, whooping feet and getting out there and taking care of business. But he was so significantly undersized that he went undrafted. Same kind of thing with Landon Robinson. I hope he gets a shot somewhere because he's a good kid too. And he had a really good week of practice in the Shrine Bowl, so I wanted to shout him.
He showed out. And if for those that followed the positions that I named for Shrine Bowl standouts that make sense for the Cowboys, notice I did not note any defensive tackles. And that wasn't because they didn't show out. It's because circling back to the beginning of the
Doesn't
show.
make sense for the Cowboys.
It doesn't make sense for the Cowboys.
Hey, maybe it's an undrafted free agent. That sounds good. I'll take him.
We'll take it all day
Sounds
long.
good to me. All right, that's going to do it for us here on Talking Cowboys. Be sure to join us next Tuesday. We will be back 10 a.m. Central Time to make it happen. For Patrik Walker, for Josh Rodriguez,
bye.
Chris Beam in the back, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long. We'll see you next week with more Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?